Testing, testing, 666. Let me know if you hear me in this. Welcome in. Let me know if you can hear me. We testing loud and clear from the mail room. Don't want to take y'all through the can't hear me episode today. G Honda, Rachel Cubed. How we doing? So as I suspected, last night, one, I could have simply clicked a button and that would have allowed me to join or share the stream I was on from my page. So rookie mistake on not being able to know how to collab. Dummy. Nevertheless, next time we'll figure it out. And if I ever want to extend the invite to other people from the connections I got to make last night, T-Miles, then at least I know what I'm doing this time, right? So on your way in, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new here, share the content. Welcome to the post office. I am your host, Postman 1914. And T-Miles, as you know today, we get to assess or review of sorts what we think the Chicago Bears did in terms of the draft, man. Personally, you know, I got a lot of thoughts about it. I won't say that my satisfaction was met on the whole, but I will give credence to the I don't know ish factor and understand that what I thought last year around this time for the draft in terms of a recap may not have been as strong as this year, but I do understand that last year I was a bit off in my assessment of some of the draft selections as well. With that being said, King Williams, thank you for joining the Postal Gang. By the way, if you want to become an official member of the Postal Gang, you can subscribe and join the membership. Membership offers you a few other peels behind the envelope as we go into other perks that you get for being a member of the Postal Gang. So appreciate everybody pulling up, hanging out. If we got a grade, because I don't give grades when we talk about drafts, but if you had to give a grade today, what would be your overall grade for what the Bears did in the NFL draft? Hell, over the weekend, these last few days. As I, just to get out of the way, you know what? T-Miles, I think that might be the most perfect grade to give. Besides an incomplete, if I have to actually give a grade out, like a flat letter, that's the one to give right there. And I say it because it lays along the lines of it's not bad, it's not good, but it gives us what we need. It's like the Bears gave us what I classify as the vegetables of a draft. We didn't get very much meat and potatoes per se, but we got some good vegetables. We got maybe some asparagus type things like that. G Honda. So just so that I understand, and I'm not being funny, were you serious in terms of your desires to have Ty Simpson be drafted by your team? Is that the quarterback you really wanted to have on your roster? And T, we gonna talk about all of them, man, because hey, it wasn't something that I was very happy about in the right then. But a 4.28 speed, man, a 4.28, bro. I I think that young man got a future in a variety of ways when it comes to the Bears. Kickoff. Okay. All right. I really didn't think that. I thought you was being tongue in cheek about that the whole time, per usual. But that's interesting that you actually wanted to draft a quarterback in this draft class. So I guess it would have been interesting if he'd got there at 21. But I think y'all went. Did y'all go tackle first? At 21. I want to say Did y'all get Ione or did y'all get I can't think of the name. Ola Fashanu or whatever. Everybody liked the wide receiver. Everybody liked Savion Thomas. Okay. So everybody seemed to like Savion Thomas. That's something I think we got to go through. Maybe we'll go through what do you call a grade of everybody, because Robbie, you just brought it up. Oh, you got Iron Shanua. Okay. Malik Muhammad is one of them ones, I think, man. I think you found a cornerback in a round. If he can work on the tackling portions of him, I think that's going to really work out. But I guess this is how we can look at it for me. We'll give you some pros and we'll give you cons from my perspective. Which would we prefer to go through first, in my estimation, based on the things that I put together for us? The pros or the cons? Let me know in the chat. Because I do think it's things on both sides that really work to our advantage if we can see the forest through the trees. And Nussmeyer had a back problem this year too, so that may have some, kind of factored into his year. Jeremy Bernard, okay. Yes, as far as the way you would anticipate draft value, I could see some of that happening right there. And so just to go with the pros for it, I think we addressed multiple needs. We needed secondary help. We got secondary help because we're talking about Malik Muhammad right now. Dylan Thieneman, for all things that I might not like, if you are graded out as being the best guy, the ball hawk, and the guy that's able to best pair with Kobe Bryant in the defensive backfield, fine. To go out there and get Muhammad in the 4th round, I believe, is something that I don't think any of us saw happening. Now, I did wonder about Jamal McCoy once we got to that point, but same time, if they got the guy that they think best suits them, I think that Al Harris is the guy who kind of had his fingerprints over that one, DeVille. And so you got secondary help. You did add front 7 depth. So I won't say that you added somebody in a way that totally satiated me. Salute to you, Dracula. I think that the front 7 depth that we got in the rounds that we got with Vandenberg. I don't want to mispronounce, but we'll get to his name in a minute as we go through all of the picks. I think we got somewhat of a breakdown of how they fit. But Thieneman, my apologies for mispronouncing his name constantly, he fills a major hole right away. Malik really can bring NFL-ready athleticism and coverage ability to start out. So let's see right here what we got. Let me move this up for us just so we can all know it. Give me a minute, cause I want to bring this up right here. And so he said, time away from the draft, he embracing the picks minus the tight end, and I'm gonna get to Sam as well. It is an interesting thing to talk about with us, we think, having a pretty solid idea of what his role will be this year. But I think on the whole, the depth that you feel with both of your Flyer picks, the trade up to 213 to get Keyshawn Elliott, and the let me pull his name up to make sure I'm not gonna do my man wrong, because I don't want to do it wrong. Vandenberg, yeah, just make sure. Jordan Vandenberg, that's what we go through. So just to name them all out so we can go through specifically, we got Dylan Thieneman, we got Logan Jones, we got Sam Roush, we got Xavier Thomas, we got Keyshawn Elliott, and Jordan Vandenberg. There we go. So when you think about it, all of those guys fit a role this year. I don't think I named any guy who won't have an opportunity to see the field if they are able to make the roster. Let's be granted with that, because we do got some UDFAs that I want to get to talk about those guys as well. But T. Miles, as much as people would like to put it like, oh, that's who we spent the DJ Moore pick on. Yes, the DJ Moore pick has nothing to do with DJ Moore's production. Because if we'd have traded the DJ Moore pick, then that's what we'd have did with the DJ Moore pick. You know, like we don't know what the players are to try to worry about how they spent the pick. Did they do what they needed to do for the team with one of the picks? And my initial thought is yours, possibly. I think that if anybody got to see the Real 2 Sports podcast last night, I gave my opinion on this particular spot. I think that we kind of flipped the way in which I would have addressed things. At the same time, it does give us an opportunity to say that we did address all of the needs, and they did it based on best player available truly in terms of their board. And while Robbie is here to speak of those UDFAs, we're going to go through the UDFAs, a.k.a. undrafted free agents, so that everybody can kind of understand who else we picked up on the roster to kind of fill out training camp, other bodies, and people that might make an impact moving forward. So we got Jaron Kump, the offensive lineman from Utah. Caden Barnett is a guard from Wyoming. You might have got a game changer with Xavier Thomas, and you might have a game changer in the future with a myriad of those picks. But we'll get back to it real fast. Miller Moss, the QB from Louisville. Casey Ezumome, I believe, is the cornerback from Tulane. What is his name? Coleman Bennett, the running back from Kennesaw State. Skylar Thomas is a safety from Oregon State. Hayden Large, a tight end from Iowa. Jaden Loving, defensive line from Wake Forest. Squirrel White. Remember that name when we started practice. Squirrel White, wide receiver from Florida State. Bo Gardner is a long snapper, I guess, to give a little bit of competition or eventual replacement. And Amari Kelly is the wide receiver from Michigan State. Those are the guys that they have listed as of now. A guy we talked about a lot, or at least I did, was Ndame Tucker. He went to the Chargers because his ex-coach was the defensive coordinator in LA now, so he got what do you call it? He had a tie, a direct tie there as to why he went there, connection. And Moss, you know, sometimes people in the NIL days, Robbie, yes, he may have worked out there, but the school that he went to late may have gave him more NIL money. You know, and so Louisville, based on what they had there, he just went on here. He just went to took his bread. Yeah, system and everything go through that. Because, like, somebody I think make the point that Xavier Thomas would have been better if Nessmeyer wasn't so bad this year. I mean, that's why I say Saturdays differ so much from Sundays because the right skill in terms of a quarterback and so on and so forth might be the way to get that going. But T. Miles had something for me real fast. He said not to keep throwing you off. Okay, but he wanted a so and so like to have a defensive game changer. I would have liked to have a higher graded guy, but there were still guys, just based on their intangibles and recognition that I think I know about him, like a Xavier Thomas, the defensive tackle from Mississippi State. Ole Miss. That would have been something in my head that would have been a nice flyer to, plug up the middle, give a little competition next to Shamar to be the run stopping, like guy like a Neville Gallimore is supposed to be for your backup. But what I will say is, and I think I heard it on 104 or I think 104, maybe the score, I believe it is. And it was expressed, T. Miles, and it might be, if you want, I think I'll even play it. If y'all want to, I can play it because I think it summarizes perfectly what I'm trying to say right now. So give me a moment, I'm going to pull it up.
Straight cash, homie.
Jeff Baum. Wait a minute. We got straight cash, homie. Dracula with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you first off. He says, how does Dylan Thieneman fit into Bears starting secondary? Am I happy with him? I'm satisfied with the filling of the need with a premium rated player. At the same time, me and T. Miles just got to talking about what they classify as a game changer. And I think that there were other players on the defensive side of the ball that they could have absolutely went ahead and pursued with that 25th pick. Case Keenum is going nowhere, just to not get sidetracked, DeVille. Case Keenum is going to be a de facto QB coach in the room, and he's going to help develop whomever is going to be there. So Keenum, I thought was going to transition to coach this year, but Keenum will definitely not be going anywhere because he is the quarterback coach on the squad. Miller Moss might be in your practice squad unless training camp or something like that, an injury would necessitate a Tyson Bagent trade. I don't think the Tyson Bagent thing is over with right now, but it would, I think, make him vulnerable if, in fact, Miller shows enough in case he's able to get him up to speed with being to be a backup or to be the 3 this year. But right now, I can see Miller Moss being more the developmental unless you saw an opportunity for Bagent to be moved. But again, I think that Thieneman, I got to get this name right, Dracula. Dylan Thieneman. I think that Thieneman is going to be a perfect pairing to Kobe Bryant because although Kobe can do everything, he is fitting the de facto the Brisker role, if you ask me. And in the Brisker role, he can use his cerebral instincts to go along with the playmaking ability that he has. And I think they classify him as being like a ball hawk or a guy with a nose for the ball. So I think that pairs well with a guy like Kobe, who is able to dissect plays. Both of them are able to have blitz capabilities. And so I think he fits well in what they plan on doing based on the moves that we've made on the defensive line and the linebackers. I see a bit more pressure from the back 7 unless once I pull this up, this is really what they got going on over here. DeVille, I really do think Vandenberg can be a good piece. It's tons of people that I think are going to be able to do things that's going to work out for us. I want to know if we're going to be able to have the guys that are already here assimilate because we made a commitment to something that has to work out now, if you ask me. no room for error in terms of not working out. So at that point, what we gonna do is my thing. I got no problem with understanding that they have their own ideas about things, but it will be somebody that questions it. And see, DeVille, I think the wide receiver that we got, one, I always knew that being one a guy that's a speed guy to take the top off the defense, as they call it. And I anticipated having the guy. Now, when DeJon Strickland went up the board at 33 in the second round, I was absolutely floored. And when you think, and while I'm looking for this video, I just think that they kind of know that some of these players are going to do things that I think are a bit more conducive to the NASCAR approach, and they're going to be able to maximize everything. But these guys said it best for me. It is 104.3 to score. This is the video that we're going to watch. Let me pull it up, and then I'll let you guys, well, we can listen to it. We don't have to pull it up at all as far as anything besides the audio. So give me a moment.
I think that just in the pick itself, when you look at him being there at 25, I don't think most people projected him to perhaps get that far down. He got to 25, and then you're talking about the second best safety on the board. And if you compare that to the edges that were there, and they had their pick, right? You know that he was their guy because there were edges available. You had Zion Young, you had Parker, you had Aldridge. They had their pick of edges if that's what they wanted to do. There were D tackles, there were corners. They wanted him, and I think because he was the second best safety in the draft, comparing him to then maybe the fourth, fifth best edge, it was like, no, let's take this guy. And, those edges will continue to fall. We got 2 picks in the second round tomorrow. We can find other guys to come in and fill the positions of need that we have. I also don't think, I've been kind of saying this through the process, I don't think that the Bears feel that the cupboard is as bare as maybe we feel on the outside, right?
Unfortunately.
They're still back at Shamar Turner. They still have some faith because they paid him in Dayo Odangbo. They still believe Austin Booker takes that next step. They don't think it's as dire a situation as we talk about it as, and I don't know who's right or wrong on that discussion, but
we're about to find out.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
You with me, right, G? Testing 666.
Yeah, brother.
Okay. Just making sure we got the dulcet tones going on. All righty, everybody, if we can, we're gonna welcome in a voice that may mimic mine today, in some ways, but I think he's gonna give us some different ways to not jump off the ledge a bit. I'm assuming totally on this Sunday right here when we talk about the recap of what we got going on G class, and I think you've seen some of the things in the chat. Cash is not so satisfied with a lot of things that went on, or at least the way in which they went. And I think my overall synopsis is for the defensive selections that we've made. I think that the gentleman on the score just perfectly summarized my thoughts, that they have a lot of faith in people that maybe the outside public does not. A Shamar Turner, some of the additions of depth. And when people speak of depth, I have continued to kind of pump the notion that we will adapt to a NASCAR sort of defense in terms of productivity. Cash, quiet. And I think that lends itself to waves of players, not a steady rotation of 4 this front four. I believe we have a front nine or something like that to give you a guesstimation. Whereas, yes, you will have people that have themselves get the majority of the snaps in given areas, and those people, even with the flexibility that we speak of so highly about when we talk about the positional flexibility, I think that those types of opportunities in their mind is why they can add to things with depth on the defensive tackle positions.
Straight cash, homie.
There are situations that allow us to, what do you call it, pay attention to the back end a lot more than I anticipated as far as the stock that they invested. So, draft recap on the whole. We know the players. Before we get to the super chat, what are your thoughts about the draft overall, G?
It was unexpected, to be honest with you. I didn't expect the Bears to go the route that they actually ended up going. But at the same time, I was doing a little research on our draft picks this year, and then I'm looking at our draft picks last year, and the reasoning is sound. They spent the money on the defense. They just had a lot of injuries, man, throughout the team. To be honest, we cannot dismiss the amount of injuries that they experience, and they feel like that they're not looking for. Of course, you want stars, but like you said, they want a combination of really, really good players, and they want depth. And they know what happened last year. They don't want to go through that again. But that doesn't mean let's just spend the draft on getting all these defensive players. We have the players. They were just hurt, like you said. Shamar Turner, Ruben Hippolyte, which is a linebacker. Come on now, Shamar Turner, D tackle. Zoff Frazier, cornerback. Luke Newman, O-line. Like these are players that they were drafted, and they're currently still on the team. So we're expecting them to produce. We have to give that more time. If you look at their draft this year, we went with Thieneman. We got a center, Logan Jones. All of these are smart picks, man. All of these are smart picks. Logan Jones was the 2025 Remington Award winner.
Right.
For the nation's best center, unanimous All-American selection at Iowa.
And I don't know if you
Didn't
know
allow pressure or a sack in 2025.
I don't know if you know he's a D lineman.
Sam Rouse, tight end, because we lost Durham Smythe, and since Ben Johnson likes to use block tight ends that can do multiple things, right? They can block, run and in the pass, and they can catch. It made sense. Let's get a tight end. Xavier Thomas, wide receiver. We don't need, in my opinion, I don't think he's looking for like another wide receiver like a Rome, like a Luther, but what he's looking at is like weapons, right? If I'm not mistaken, this guy was considered the best return man in the draft. Yes. Xavier Thomas. I could be wrong about that.
Well, he been mocked in that way just based on speed, some of the actual returns in terms of the metrics with touchdowns. On both sides, punt and kickoff. I think he got like 4 total or what have you. So his explosion is noted, even if he's not the top ranked according to FBS. I'm pretty sure.
He's up there. If he ain't the top, he's up there. And then you go to round 4, Malik Newman, cornerback out of Texas. Which listen. It's hard to find bad Texas players. It's just difficult. It's difficult to find.
I think Muhammad is, and I don't classify much on draft grade, but on rank, he is a steal.
Yes.
Where he was slotted to go versus where we actually got him. So I can always
4'4", 40, can cover, right? And then you got Tyreek Stevenson entering in contract year. Come on, man. Like it literally just makes sense, man. It just makes sense. Is he going to be our day one starter? Perhaps not. But the way that the Bears have set this thing up, you will be ready at some point. When you're gonna put in the work, you will be ready and you will be used. How much you're used is dependent upon you. It's like Tyreek. Like, hey man, Tyreek is out here. He giving up. Tyreek was giving up the most passing yards to everybody he played against. They said, "No, we can't have this. We can't have this. We got to sit you down, bro." Moving on, round 5, Keyshawn Elliott, a linebacker, makes sense. He can learn behind T.J. Edwards, right? Well, if Edwards, I don't know if he's going to be ready for the starter season. Maybe not. He probably won't be ready for the starter season, but you need somebody in that spot. It just makes sense. 6'2", 235. Vandenberg, D tackle out of Georgia Tech. Some consider him another steal. Of course, that remains to be seen. But they packaged 2 draft picks to move up to get him.
Yes.
So
said you something about Bears.
Yes, and that's what we have to trust. See, the Bears are building this thing in a way that we as fans of a losing team are having a hard time reconciling with. We think that we know best because we're like, well, we've seen y'all make these errors time and time again, year after year. But when's the last time we saw a winning season? When's the last time we saw a coach like a Ben Johnson? When's the last time we've had a quarterback like a Caleb Williams? Never, right? So when you put all these factors together, you really got to take a moment and say, I have to give you leeway, especially when you look at the success from last year. I know Ben said this year's a new year, but you're building off of something, right? The foundation has been laid. They looked at their entire roster and they said, these are the key spots that we need, and we're going to go for best player available. We're not just going to put all our chips on the D line or D tackles. We're not going to do that, right? We're going to go for best player available. And they start off with a defensive player. It's not like they drafted a wide receiver or a tight end with the first pick. They went for their best player on the board, which makes us far more versatile now. Now, we got to go back to who we've already had, right? Booker, get your mess in gear, man. It's time. We've been waiting. Montez Sweat. I need to see a bunch of sweat on the field, bruh. I need snaps. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've paid these guys the money. Grady Jarrett, let's go. Okay? We drafted some people to help you, to back you up, but we need production, and they're going to put it on them. And I feel good about it, man. A year or two coming in, I feel good about it overall. So I know that was a lot. I don't mean to be long-winded, but I think overall, if we're just talking about the draft, I like what they did. And it still leaves them room to move and, to kind of shift if need be, right? They could be participants in before the trade deadline this year. You know what I'm saying? They could be if they really needed to. So I like what they did, man.
And I think even when you just speak about trade in the middle of the season, as we spoke about with Bajent already, Logan is expected right now to be learning. However, as I already told you, the fun fact, Logan played defensive line before he converted to O-line. So he has an understanding of both sides of the ball, and he ox strong. If he is able to get the coaching that Rauscher wants him to have this year, that allows Bradbury to be expendable, whether it be relegated to the bench or a trade piece as a Newman or something like that is going to be the backup. But it's just like the way in which the needs were met in there is the thing that I will continue to say happened. The way in which they baked the cake was the way in which I was most dissatisfied, is the way in which I tried to articulate it last night. Because make no mistake, last year I had the same head-scratching type of look when Luther Burden came off the board. The results they have yielded have given me no other reason but to, like you said, trust that, one, you didn't go completely off the rails and go offense in the first. Like, seriously, I would have been incensed if we went, and I would have trusted it, but I would have been over the top if we'd have took an offensive tackle in the first round. I don't believe we need one. I'm hell-bent. Now, they would have told me right there that we did, and they would have told me to shut up because they would have knew better, and I would have took Papa's advice, but I would have been so pouting in the corner the whole time if the second and third rounds went the way they did, it's nothing that I could see. But it does again, Rauscher. And I'm saying Roush. That may be the eventual way in which we talk about mid-season trades. That may be the mid-season goodbye to Cole Kmet. People say, well, they just restructured him last night. Now, I understand that, but he's him. That's him again.
Let's not listen, man. Let's not go crazy.
I can go crazy.
I think.
Hear me out.
I think Cole Kmet gonna be here for a while.
Hear me out.
But are you talking about for a possibility of a trade? Like
yes,
is that what you're saying?
Yes, and just understand that you didn't get this dude in the third round to have him stay your third option on the field. He's not that much of an excellent blocker that you're gonna keep him being the H. Or the backup H for multiple years. I'm not the guy that believes that. Somebody else can paint that right there. But last year when they drafted Luther, everybody wanted to shoot down DJ going somewhere. And I'm not saying that we have to be looking immediately to get rid of anybody. What I'm saying is, if he is gone in the mid-season, I'm not shocked about it, even if it's mid or the off-season, because I do believe that this dude was drafted to replace Cole. I don't believe he was drafted to be a third. When he replaces Cole, it's up to the team. So he right now he is the third tight end on the team. But I do believe it's
Sam Roush.
Yes.
You think Sam Roush is Kmet's replacement?
Yes, I do. You are built in an H type of position, much like Cole. Catch the ball, but blocking is really what they want you to do in their scheme for the most part, and he excels at that. I think that it's very easily to conceive that you did not spend a third-round pick on a lifetime third-string tight end. Could you tell me that will make any sense to you, to make any logic of that? You really think anybody is that hell-bent committed to I don't want another offensive lineman. I'll just go get a tight end in the third round, and that's going to be his job for the life of his tenure as a Bear.
I think it depends, and your mic is doing some funny stuff over here, but I think it depends on how you view tight ends, and I don't think Ben Johnson views first, second, third string. I think he views what is your skill set at whatever point in the game that we need you, right? So. Some people could say, well, Cole Kmet is now the backup because Colston caught all those passes. Maybe. But when Colston was out, Cole was number one, and it seemed like everybody, were able to do their job, even Durham Smythe, which I'm glad, hey, man, go get your money and go hang out in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the time here. But I've looked at the video. I've checked the numbers on Sam Roush. Not saying that he's a bum. He's not a bum, right? And they like you said, they drafted him for a reason. I mean, third round, number 69. They think highly of him. But I think it remains to be seen. I just don't think Ben Johnson thinks about it that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he thinks about tight ends or really any position, especially offensively. I don't think he thinks like, well, this is my first or third guy, except for, quarterback. Okay, that's our top, our top spot. But everything else, I think, is a fluid situation. He wants weapons. So if Roush can become a weapon, then he'll get more targets, right? Uh-huh. If Colston is that consistent weapon, then he'll keep getting the targets too. But they'll still be asked to block. They'll still be asked to do their job on the O-line, and that's probably what's most important here, man. Absolutely. Like I'm with Ben on this one, and it's weird to say, but I'm a rock with him, man, just because he showed me last year, and I expect Ben to be better, just like he expects the guys in that locker room to be better.
We agree on everything 1,000%. My point in talking about Sam Roush was not to say that this year Sam Roush is going to light your world on fire and Cole Kmet is an afterthought. I didn't say that last year, nor will I say it this year. Nor did I give any designation to the pecking order of how you get targets. I'm just speaking on the depth chart. We know where they're listed. there's no 1-1-1. It's 1, 2, and 3. That's real life. That's what Jesus loved.
That's just
Peter
because
wrote on the wall.
they asked.
It don't matter.
That's just
For whatever semantical reason you want, somebody got to be, just like in our house. Somebody's the head of the household. Me and the wife ain't both head of the household. I don't care what semantics you want to throw behind it. Both of us can't be principal. Somebody got to be the vice. That don't mean we ain't both important.
But look, Ben Johnson look at it like I'm the head of this.
Well, and guess what?
Y'all just be ready when I call your number. That's it.
And Durham Smythe was ready to the tune of 35 targets last year. I'm telling you, Durham Smythe was in the 3rd round draft pick. And Ben Johnson did not spend a 3rd round draft pick on this quote unquote where we say he loves weapons. Ben did not go get a weapon to get him the ball 35 times a year for the rest of his career. So be that as it may, this year he can get that 35. What I'm telling you is look for Mr. Born and raised in the outskirts of Illinois to be shipped out of here after next year, because he did get him to be his new Lubu, a.k.a. DJ, I love you. I can use the hell out of you, but you can be used for something else later on. I'm not trying to get rid of Cole. I'm not telling you this dude getting 12 catches this year. I know nothing about this year. We're not talking about this year. Our draft was built on the future, I believe. Just like you said, what we need later on and what we can get now. He's going to have a role this year, and it's going to be subservient to the guys we're talking about now. But one day, Colston going to be here. Cole will not. And I think that 3rd round pick at number 69, hey yo, I think he's coming to make a little bit of noise out here later on.
So you feeling like just to kind of not settle anything, but I feel like you're saying it's similar when we talked about when the Bears drafted Luther Burden last year. We was like DJ's on the clock has just started. You know what I'm saying? The clock has just started. But I think the reason why DJ is out of here, you know, I mean, money aside, I really think the reason why DJ is out of here because he couldn't he couldn't be trusted to run the routes, right? Like Ben picked up on that and was like, he's here every game and, you know, he plays every snap and he does what we ask him to do, but I need a guy that I can trust to run the routes, and I can't trust him to run the routes. He's gonna eventually hold our offense back. And I think that they felt like he was expendable in that way. Cole to me is just, I'm just saying, to me, Cole is a little bit different. I think it's a little bit, does this pick put Cole on like, no. Does that start the clock?
No, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to move the clock. I'm saying eventually that is your replacement. This is not a guy they brought in just to keep with all 3 of them. You won't see all 3 of them on the roster for the next 4 years. Is what I'm saying. Cole will be gone, and he will be the new Cole. I'm not starting the clock. I'm not trying to get rid of anybody. Just like I wasn't with DJ. The situation itself made fiscal sense for them to get rid of him, and I understand that Ben knows that he has other weapons that he can utilize way better without having DJ in the mix. So he wasn't worried about not having DJ. I'm saying eventually Ben is playing chess. And just like with the guards and everything that they start to go with a Newman, I think those eventual replacements for the people that are here, some of them are already on the roster because Ben does not want a one-time situation, nor did he want age and attrition to bite him in the ass like it did in Detroit with some of the players they're going through right now. He is a learned dude in the way he thinks about it, and I think he thinks in the GM capacity for real in terms of the overall scheme, because Ben plans on being here. And so while he is able to limit himself to being a coach, I think the viewpoint is really something past some. He in the upper echelon of coaches to me. And I think they see the entire vision of what the team is now and how the team can continue to evolve. His offense won't be just what it was last year. There will be wrinkles this year that are ever evolving. And I think he will always see it that way. Whereas, God, this player is going to fit the new wrinkle of what I got going on, and old player might not adapt so well. Like you said, DJ may not ever be more than who he is because he an old dog. Can't teach you a new trick. But Xavier, I can teach you a new trick. And so I may go ahead and piss everybody off in Chicago by going third round and getting exactly what I know we need. That got to take the top off the defense, run the route to where I asked them to, and be there in position to take what's given to you, take it with a smile, because you're going to be the rookie right now. So you might not be loaded up with targets, but you're going to be in the pecking order and you're going to get your work, just like the other dudes did last year and kind of assimilated themselves. I think he understands all of those things. So this guy, like people say, I want him to be the day one slot. Xavier may very well be that, but I don't believe he will, because knowing that Khalif Raymond will know the playbook and know where to be before this young buck, I'm almost certain of that. Based on the money they gave him, he wants a dual role for Khalif, and he probably gave him some incentives and promises that I can give you a bit more of a role if X, Y, and Z comes to fruition. So you still got work to do, but I believe he got the first crack at being number 3, and he ain't lacking for speed either. But
no.
I just think that,
they want. It's clear they want speed.
Yes.
On
both sides.
And all those. Yes.
Look at the dude they talked about, the 6th rounder guy. Is it? I don't know his name. I don't want to butcher it right now. We got a linebacker. We got a linebacker real quick. His name ain't coming to me. He bottom of the screen out here.
You're talking about Keyshawn
Elliott. Yes.
Yeah.
Speed guy, flies around, does all types of things that I think will help out in the Tremaine Edmonds type of role. And by that I mean he's good in pass coverage, but he's able to be a downhill guy to get to the quarterback. So your athleticism and your speed kind of on a cheap and a very creative learning type of way is going to be something that resembles the playing role of an Edmonds. When I say that, I don't want people to think I'm saying he's going to be Tremaine Edmonds. I'm saying the role in terms of that position that was asked, he may get a variant of it, be his role until he can, learn a bit more.
I got a quick question for you, man.
Go right ahead.
Why you got my camera all the way down in the corner and you up there on the line? Why I'm all in the corner, man?
Since we got the call window out here. So we got the call window out.
Got me all in the corner, man.
I mean, you're gonna be larger than me in the corner, the biggest, the largest. That's how we go, right there. Oh, that's wild.
Oh man!
Hey, I'm telling you, they love this dude, man, Xavier and Thomas. I want to find out. He got to be that deal out here in the world, cause they pumping him, and that's. I don't know nothing about many of them.
He ran. Okay, you want a couple stats on him?
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Run something. Then I got a super chat that I'm gonna get to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me? Okay.
Yeah, give me the rundown.
He ran a 4.2840, man, at the combine. 4.28. It's one of the fastest times on record. He led the SEC with 633 kick return yards in 2024. Speed. If he and from what I understand, and I can't give you because I need to be sure, so I'll check it. But aren't they changing the kickoffs? It's not going completely back to what it was. Aren't they adjusting it?
I think they modified it a bit. They want more returns. So I think the rules committee talked about it. I don't know the exact detail, but that was something they talked about in terms of modifying I want to say not the starting time of the people going off, but the return line. You know how they had that little, you have to do X, Y, and Z. If it don't cross this line, you got to return it. I think they probably moved it up a little bit, that line.
Okay.
So obviously, I don't know if it's going to increase returns, but that would, I think, delay them from the opposition from running at you so fast in order for the ball to travel, because people going to try to kick high up in the air. But whatever whatever they convoluted things is, they talked about it more from the UFL aspect, trying to tie it into how they got their kickoff, because they have a lot of returns in theirs, not a lot of contact in terms of injury or what have you, but that may be because of where they play. But don't let me get into the weeds of making up their own rules that they ain't set forth yet.
Yeah, some always changing with them guys, man. But I from what I understand, I've heard some chatter about it, and the Bears. That's one thing I do get the Bears and Ben Johnson. They stay prepared. So with that change, they know that the kickoff is going to be more of a weapon. So they wanna make sure that they have an answer for that. And I think it's clearly a benefit. Duvernay did most of the returns last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with
Thank
Duvernay.
you. You always knew I
he
wanted
looked
more.
slow. He looked old.
He was experienced.
And
he did all the little things right. They needed somebody at that point because they didn't find the burner or the person on the roster, and there was nobody available. They kept with the sure-handed guy who made some decent returns for us in spots, but obviously you knew they were going to go ahead and want to upgrade that position. I think you do that with Khalif on punt returns, and I think you do that with this young man on kickoff. So you kind of spread the opportunities out for both of them, and the new blood really get to go ahead and, show you what he do. He'll blaze it for a reason. And I think that's what he going to do out there for you first and foremost probably even before you get his catching chops. He's going to give you a couple of returns to set the tone for things out there and get the team going. But like you said, everything got a place, and every place, got that thing, and being going to use them all. And we're going to break all of them down. We got individual thoughts about each player because we don't want to disregard them in some regard. But real quick, because everybody here is not a Bear fan, so I do appreciate you hanging out with me. Rachel had a question, and she said, hubby asked if I'm answering questions about other teams. The teams that you and hubby, Team Cubed, if y'all got questions, yes. If it's about the Steelers, we reject anybody's deposit. But everybody else got teams besides G Honda. Feel free to give us your questions, and we're going to answer those to the best of my ability. If G got anything to add to them, we're going to be on the same page with those who are different, but it'll be an answer to your question that's a non-Steelers Q&A. But carry on, Rachel, as we move along, and let me see exactly what this chat is. I just got to do something. I have to pick something different. I ain't got too far away on the chat.
Straight cash, homie.
Thank you for that super chat, by the way. Much appreciated.
Oh, my Jesus. She get right to it over here. Straight cash, homie. She say 2 QBs, and I got this question a bit earlier. And while we're here real quick, everybody, I'm going to black myself out right for 1 second if we can. We got to share the screen in a different way.
Straight cash, homie.
I hear that particular drop more times than I thought I would in my streaming career, especially at this juncture. And oftentimes, more than not, it is from one, I call it Rachel Cube, but it's Rachel. Say it 3 times unless you want to be disrespectful. And so for Rachel and for Mr. Cube himself, I got my own segment I've been thinking about, G. I want to y'all let me know if it resonates with you. But a patron is a person who frequents business or what have you and spends a nice amount of money with you and shows their gratitude in your shop. And in my case, being a postal worker, I thought about it and I said, a P.O. box is what people typically come and buy from my particular establishment. So, G, I hope you still got the stream up. We are about to pull up Rachel's corner over here, the cube corner, if I will call it. And I want y'all to be able to see this is exactly how we're going to get this going. Let me move this down for a moment. If we can see everybody, that should pop up on the screen for us real quick. Rachel Cubed, Mr. Rachel Cubed. This is your supporter mail room. I want you to always be ready to drop that P.O. box message. Any questions you got, whether they bear questions, personal questions, streaming questions, and things that y'all want to talk about with the Patriots and so forth, I got absolutely no problem doing. Feel free to drop those for me and leave everybody good old messages in their own individualized P.O. box. So yes, you too can get one of those, but today's featured P.O. box from the supporter mail room goes to Mr. and Mrs. Rachel Cube. I appreciate you. Now let's get back to the question. We got 2 QBs have won Heisman trophies and Super Bowls as starters. Roger Staubach and Jim Plunkett. They had to pull into the crate for that right there. 2000 to 2015 Heisman winners Johnny Manziel, Sam Bradford, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston faced the Heisman kiss of death or were cursed by failed teams that drafted them. So let me finish the question out for y'all so that we can get the totality of it to make sure I want to read the end. Yeah, it says, so give me a minute, y'all. Tom Brady, who was never a Heisman nominee, 6th round, 199 pick, he has 7 rings, while almost every Heisman winning QB from the years stated faced the said kiss of death. Was Brady's cause he didn't suffer from bad teams? Or does the Heisman reward a style of play that can't convert to the NFL? So, I'm going to get sidetracked before I give you an answer real quick, Rachel. One of those names on the list, I'm going to have to arbitrarily and summarily take away from this list in terms of this alleged curse. Because in my estimation, you cannot win the MVP of the league and go to the Super Bowl while leading your team to a 15-1 record and be succumb to a kiss of death, unless we speak of the shortened shelf life due to the uncooperation of referees to actually officiate the game according to his position and not his size. With that being said, I think that typically
Straight cash, homie.
Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, if they are drafted pretty high, and you are drafted to infrastructures that are very poor. And very often, the quarterback themselves are don't have the ability to resurrect a franchise. See the Bears, for example. I think of a person like Jay Cutler as being a reasonable or reasonably skilled quarterback. But without the right offensive line or without the offensive coordinator that goes along with being able to whisper to the individual quarterback, I think those things will always curse the Heisman quarterback, because college is based on a bit more what a system needs as opposed to truly utilizing the skill set of a quarterback within a given offensive system as far as highlighting those skills. So sometimes you might have to suppress. And the example is they've been talking about Xavier Thomas and how because he had a bad quarterback, he didn't get the reception yards that he should have gotten. That's going to be an issue for somebody like that as a quarterback, because oftentimes when I'm the quarterback, you don't have an offensive line, you don't got pass catchers, you probably don't have a defense, you probably just got a new coach. There are so many different factors that go along with you not being in the perfect situation to thrive that it puts you at a disadvantage to start. But when you take a person, let's say like a Cam, who was on the team, who had a pretty decent defense already, coach in Ron Rivera that had some success on the coattails of Jake Delhomme and Fox in terms of Carolina. The infrastructure was there for the owner to spend money and do things around Cam that allowed him to win, i.e. a Steve Smith on the back end of his career, trade for a Greg Olsen, so on and so forth. Again, you get a guy like Lamar Jackson, who was drafted into a system, a coach who had a winning team, i.e. the Ravens, traded back into the first round, took a quarterback that was a Heisman winner, was able to develop him and utilize his skill set to kind of be infused into the theme of the team concept. And so he had sufficient light and water as a plant, as we want to use the metaphor, to grow. Oftentimes the Heisman Trophy winner is either never going to be skilled enough to play in the NFL because they were a collegiate skilled quarterback. See Tim Tebow for details. Your skill set was meant to dominate college, but it was never meant to translate to the NFL game to start. So, yes, some of them do have what you classify as a skill set that would never convert to the NFL, but a great many of them, just like any quarterback, I believe, don't have the correct infrastructure to come into to be able to get the most success. And I think if you have a classroom that doesn't have proper books, the best teacher, and is in an area that says that I can't concentrate the best, I can be the brightest student, but I might not get the best opportunity to grow. And therein lies the problem where you may deem me a inferior student when in fact I just never had the equal footing that some other people may have had. And when you have a good team, I think you have an equal or a good foot. For example, now, and to wrap this question up, because I know you got more, the Bears in the draft we're talking about right now, they get the leeway of me believing that my coach and my infrastructure has enough sunlight, enough nutrients in the soil, and enough water where the person with a green thumb is going to get everybody that they drafted to be the best flower they can be. And so I worry less about them thriving because of the environment they're in. But if you ask me the same question 3 years ago about my same team, everybody's doomed to hell because nobody there can teach you anything. And that's a recipe for disaster, Rach. Moving on. Chime in on that real fast while I'm scrolling down to get to the next one.
All right, just a quick little chime in. I find it very interesting that you note the quarterbacks from 2000 to 2015. I went back and did some research. Those teams really sucked, and typically, you talked about what does the Heisman Trophy represent? It represents literally the best, the most productive player. The most productive player on probably the most productive team in college, sans a couple of examples, some very specific examples, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Not every time, right? Johnny Manziel was box office because of who they beat. That there was no way that they should have beat Alabama, but they found a way. You got Robert Griffin the third, Cam. If you beat Alabama, or you were on Alabama, you were gonna get the trophy. That's pretty much what it looks like.
Hey, I watched that game, baby. Woo, I lived in Montgomery for that Iron Bowl, man. That was a Super Bowl that year, y'all. Just to get sidetracked, that environment was electric, man. In Auburn, Alabama, War Eagle. Carry on. Sorry.
Yes. So, but if you look at beyond that, right? So let's go past 2015. I saw what you did there. But if you go past that, so you got Lamar, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Fernando Mendoza currently, right? Yeah. Those are your quarterbacks. The new boys. One of them is going to win it.
I didn't get to the new ones. Those was the segue that we was ultimately going to get to, because when she gave me the question about Heisman winners, instantly the glow went to my eyes. Like, I don't know if Rachel Cube knows that Caleb Williams is a Heisman winning quarterback.
Actually did win it.
And we will, I repeat, we will see more success than just the playoffs from my quarterback, in my estimation, based on what we got going on. And so, I brought in Lamar because she talked about people from 2015, which was a fair statement, because sans Cam, a lot of them did have very horrible careers in terms of how things turned out for them. I think the reasons that we talked about, and some of that was some of them guys themselves, i.e. Johnny Manziel not diving into being a pro. The Cleveland curse may have got you, But for whatever reasons they went about these days.
I mean, look at the quarterback: Tim Tebow, Troy Smith, Jason White. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Winkie. Like let's be realistic here. Like look at the who won it, and then look at the position that those teams were in. I'm not saying that those quarterbacks didn't have talent, but those teams, typically the teams that have the top pick, they are the worst team in the league. Mm-hmm. They don't have the structure, right? Even the Bears had to adjust their structure in order to provide what Caleb Williams needed, and they did it too sweet. You know what I'm saying? Bryce Young, he won it before Caleb. Carolina had to adjust their structure because they actually benched the dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you want to say gave him time or whatever, but they actually benched the dude, and now he came back and led them to the playoffs. So I mean, it was like a back end kind of situation, but hey, a win is a win.
And I appreciate the new coach in Canales for being able to see things like that, though. I know I'm going to get the best thing out of my player. I'm assuring you, young man, this ain't the last time you're going to see this field, but the way in which they got you driving this car right now ain't good for you or me. And I'm trying to save both of us, because both of us going to be on a short leash if you don't get it together, and I don't help you get it there. And that's my job, is to run towards coaching. I know you got it in you, little man. Let's get it out of you. And right now, it looks like that flower is starting to grow in Carolina. Seriously. It looked like they didn't lose. And that's all you want to know is that I left my kid in your care, and you are able to get the most out of the player, whether it's what everyone wants from a player or not. I want you to maximize potential from every player that you get. And so, yes, the round will always try to manipulate the way in which you perceive it, but if you got the right people around, I think that if you find a role for a person and clearly define it and let them be proud of what the role is because it contributes to success, everybody maximizes. And I think that's one of the differences when we talk about the people we don't know with draft picks and everything this year, just the same. Those guys are coming into a winning environment. It's a baton that's being handed to you that says, I want to continue what they got going on. I'm excited as hell to get drafted 21st and beyond because I know I'm going to somebody who got some semblance of success on their side. Whether it's newfound or not, I know that things are looking up. And nobody can tell me that. I know that your personal pride wants to be the first overall pick, but your logical brain telling you, I don't want to be the savior to this bum organization, and I may not do so. And if I don't, I'm going to be the one held responsible for it. Like I'm the only one playing. And so it's both ways to be glorified in those ways. I understand it. But when you get to come into a situation of winning, and the coaches seem to understand holistically how to get what they can get out of a player, I'm excited to see about things. When you talk about solid value with Malik Muhammad, we have plenty of question marks when it comes to the secondary with the cornerback position because we do got a lot of bodies. I'm excited to see if Zay Frazier can be worth anything. I'm excited to see if Terrell Smith can come back and show you that the ACL injury didn't slow him down. I'm excited.
I want to see Ruben Hippolyte because they say he got speed. If his speed matches,
he got safety speed, bro.
We're gonna be a problem.
But I want to be able to understand that the guys that we got in the defensive backfield, like a Tariq Stevenson, are you gonna try to play with your hair on fire to get your next deal elsewhere, or are you gonna recede to your hijinks as usual? Let you get in your own head and lose your spot very early, and then it's only between three people. Because I think people overlook Terrell Smith and being bona fide, and last year did hurt him by not being a part of the system in terms of being able to learn it from actually Al Harris and DA because he haven't played in that system yet. But I think that the range he got sort of he like 6'2" or something like that. He's not a little dude, and I think he kind of fits the mold just like a Zay with that Nation Wright body to do what Al Harris wants him to do. But Malik Muhammad can come in and usurp all of them and be your long-term plan as the de facto guy on the opposite side, along with a Zay, if he's able to prove himself. And then you got both of your replacements for when the time comes to move on from Jalen. Like, that has to be a discussion at some point. Not right now for me, but at some point, maybe you got both of those replacements on the roster with Terrell Smith being your backup. That's your savvy vet, and it's somebody to get you. Because like T. Miles, I know T. Miles is
we forget about him. Man, bruh, I forgot all about Terrell Smith.
I don't. You know, we missed the most snaps last year in the NFL to injury, and most of those came on the defensive end. So I'm cognizant of the fact that they want the defense to go ahead and rebound and be motivated and all those other things, and we have to rely on that. But conversely, some of the players they did get to bolster that are people that I think excite me. I don't know what Shamar Turner is, but last year we got the highest ranked grade at the end of the year. I have to believe that another second round player that was in that draft class has this opportunity this year to shine just the same and show us that he indeed was a part of that grade from last year. And if he is that dude,
Great cash, homie.
Tell me how he can't be an instant game record to you if
Great cash,
what you
homie.
thought about a Luther and a Colston and an Ozzy when he was coming on, this guy was showing you flashes, and now he's going to get to come back straight training camp. Last year he was rehabbing. I tell you, it's a big thing between rehab and training camp. Braxton, Jedrick Wills, possibly Hippolyte, T.J. Edwards, Terrell Smith. There are a myriad of guys that may be in training camp this year as opposed to rehabbing to start the season, and that pushes this clock up on when some people actually touch the field, because certain guys like a Luther Burden and so on and so forth didn't hit the field early on because they were still learning the playbook due to battling injury in training camp, so they were late getting to the playbook because they was on rehab. But we got a super chat right now. The Count always got something going for us, and he says Thursday, Mendoza, the Heisman winning quarterback, was number one pick in the draft to the Raiders. Do I think Fernando Mendoza will win a Super Bowl? Let me tell you, I'm gonna do this without being disrespectful to anybody's talent. If Fernando Mendoza wins as a quarterback a Super Bowl, he'll be doing it as a backup on somebody else's team because it won't be with the Raiders. So I'm going to try to be less dismissive of Fernando than my confidence in the Raiders winning the Super Bowl. Like, I'm serious when I like what they did in terms of trying to add to their team this year, but I really don't know that I could be on the Super Bowl train for the Las Vegas Raiders. So I think if Fernando won a Super Bowl, it would be after he got traded to another team. But if I had to say yes or no, I will say no. This ain't college. Your 25-year-old transfer students, they all get paid here. And mom and them got to be fed just like my kids and Peanut and them from Palo Alto, California. And well, I don't believe that because Lamar can win and Caleb winning a Super Bowl. And are we saying that the Heisman curse means you can't win the Super Bowl in the NFL, or you can't be successful? Because I don't think this.
That's not a.
Those are the same. He can be successful as a player. I'm not saying Fernando won't be a good quarterback. You said Super Bowl. Super Bowl. I don't think you win no Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. Like, the team has to win a Super Bowl. Everything got to go right for this player to be in a Super Bowl team. I don't think Fernando will be on the Raiders as a Super Bowl champion. Fernando himself, I think, until proven otherwise, should be a damn good quarterback. What you got on that, Jim?
And they're in the AFC. And they're in the same division. They're in the same division as the Chiefs
and the Broncos.
And ultimately, like, it's a team sport, right? You can have possibly the best quarterback. Let's say Mendoza is the best quarterback in the AFC. Does that guarantee a Super Bowl? No. I.e. the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah,
right?
Joe was cooking for a minute.
Burrow was destroying the league. They couldn't sniff the playoffs, or they couldn't sniff. Let's say they couldn't sniff a championship.
And hold on.
So it takes more.
Real quick.
I think that the Raiders are on the right track, though. I will say that. but they got to get the quarterback right. But they got a lot of other stuff they got to figure out too. They drafted their running back last year. I'm not 100% sure about their O-line, although I do feel pretty strong about them. Their defense, man, they have a tough time like really stopping people. So let's see if they've taken care of that this year. I think Mendoza is currently right now, realistically, Mendoza's a piece. So let's see if he can be more than that. Let's see if we can actually rely on this guy. Like in Indiana, he did some big things, no doubt. Will he be a team guy? Absolutely. But I don't know what the comp is for him. But I don't get to me. I don't get like superstar with Mendoza.
His comp is on the roster,
and a lot of it.
That's his comp. His comp is on the roster. His mentor. That's his comp. That's what they comped him to. Kirk Cousins. That's his comp.
And you know what? And that feels just right.
Yeah,
like that
he
feels
like a minivan driving quarterback to me.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Drac, just to really get back to it, because I saw Dracula say it, so that kind of confirms Rachel's thought about it. The reference of the quarterback that we just talked about, and so I know we giving y'all outliers right now, but again, Lamar has went very far in the AFC playoffs, not to the AFC Championship yet or the Super Bowl, but those are not Lamar problems holistically. Cam Newton, 15-1, took his team to the Super Bowl. Joe Cool, Mr. Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner, took the lowly Bengals, who I called them the Bungles for 30 years of my life, and he took them to the Super Bowl. So I don't believe it's a Heisman curse. Situations dictate how players can thrive, and in Joe's case, I'm going to have to say Joe put people on his back and just took them there. I don't even know how to explain how Cincinnati got to the damn Super Bowl that year. Like, seriously, because the team ain't changed much since he been there. So with that, gosh, and Drac say G-Class is my co-host. First class delivery, we always gonna be out here giving. Drac, but you got a hard sell for me with success, because he said in my book, it only count if you walk away with the ring. And I say it's 32 teams in the National Football League, and only one can do that thing right there. And for me to put that on the Heisman, and it's not a Heisman curse, because the teams sucked. And I told you when the teams didn't. And we tried to, I guess, clarify to you what the Heisman Trophy really means, because it does not mean you are a superior quarterback. It is oftentimes not mean you are an elite quarterback. It means that your college team lit the world on fire and did enough. And yes, Rachel, I know a Patriot fan would say rings are the only thing that matters in her house. Coming from a guy who knows something about 6 rings, hello, I understand that we play to win the game, and I can need that drop. I need Hearn drop, because we play to win the game. I understand it. But by that metric, if I were to say that every Heisman player is cursed, that means that a whole bunch of quarterbacks are cursed because they ain't never won a Super Bowl. But to be fair, to keep it to your argument, since my history fails me, only 2 Heisman Trophy winners have won. So I guess I'm still going to have to disagree, because they won. So they can't be cursed if they already won. Somebody that was elite, that won the Heisman twice, they already hoisted the trophy. So how could I say it's cursed when the curse was broke before I was born?
To me, a curse would be they won the Heisman and then they were bums in the league. Like,
yeah.
To me, that's a curse. Like, they were just terrible. And then I would start looking at, like, well, how are they voting? How are they voting for people for the Heisman? You know what I'm saying? Like Diego Pavia. He was a Heisman finalist and didn't get drafted. That's the first time ever. That means that people they saw through that mess. they saw through it.
Prime
Like,
example.
he's just here. Congratulations.
One of the best. One of the
does
best.
that mean he's gonna be a
Heisman.
bum? No, he's gonna have his shot, but the height that doesn't lessen the Heisman. I think best college will always be different than the league. You going from playing with boys to playing with men, right? And there's a lot that comes with that. There's a level of maturity that you gotta achieve to even have real success in the league for a consistent enough amount of time to put you in a position to possibly win it all. So a lot of these people, they try, especially when you look at, and I think some of this is not to say it's been corrected, but some of these things have changed in the last, I would say, 10, 12
in terms of the
years.
recognition of how to get the most out of a situation and a quarterback in terms of identifying who is good and who's not, and not taking
and even the
hype.
players.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at the players that were that won the Heisman. Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Derrick Henry.
We're not getting no
these people
more.
are still in the league, man.
But
from
we're not
2013
getting-
on, all these cats are still playing and, dare I say, thriving. In some cases in the league. Shake and bake. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, he's getting another shot. You know what I'm saying? Like Devontae Smith, like Devontae Smith has won a Super Bowl. So
just to put a bow on it.
Did
Devontae win a Heisman?
Yes.
Oh, so the Heisman curse been broke again already, because Rachel says it's been 42 years since the curse was broken. So again, a Heisman Trophy win. Oh, he wasn't a quarterback. So
he wasn't a quarterback.
So that's what people throw out the reward. A Heisman Trophy winning player has won a Super Bowl in the last 4 years, right? So Rachel, I don't get to drop the mic, but if I had one, Mr. G Class just gave y'all the most priority express delivery of a Super Bowl champion that has a Super Bowl ring in the last 4. Hey, I'm giving you 4 to be nice. The last 2 years. I was just trying to double it up, make it feel like it was long. In the last 2 years, just a year ago before this Super Bowl, Devontae, that guy from Alabama, the thin man, he was catching passes in the Super Bowl that he won with Jalen, his quarterback from Alabama, who was a Heisman finalist himself. And all that means, you play to win a game, yes. He played and won the game. Oftentimes, you get people like Charlie Ward, who plays another game and go play basketball. But to give y'all a tie and put this bow out here for you, now I just got to be the quarterback. Book it. Rachel is going to give me.
But what you see, that's a very specific thing. So you're saying there's only a Heisman Trophy curse on quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's right.
But other players, it don't count. That's weird. But I digress.
Yeah.
I digress.
So the curse. So now we get caveats. The curse applies to only quarterbacks. It don't apply to nobody but quarterbacks. So it's good to know, because Reggie got a ring too, yeah. But I was someone who actually contributed. Reggie was a role. Okay, I ain't gonna get into that. Reggie got a ring too, but 2 Heisman Trophy winners. Maybe because he had to give his back, he don't count or something. But I think he count. But just to wrap it all up,
he got it back.
Yeah, no, I just want to give him one because they took it from him.
Cash, homie.
My boy, Caleb, Acrylic Tips Williams is gonna go ahead and break your curse and get you that Super Bowl that y'all so very, very desperately desire for me and my Bears. I know this one y'all are asking about it, because my quarterback is a Heisman Trophy winner, and when he wins the Super Bowl, Dracula, Rachel Cubed, I really want to see that down this line and this ride in the next year or two, that y'all going to be right here with me, because what I will profess to you right now, I'll give you a little bit of clip before we get back into it. I'm in I Told You So type. And if it don't go right, I love when people come pull up the tape. But I told you, Caleb going to go ahead and win that ring right now. And just let y'all know. So we can dispel all of the Heisman curse, the Heisman quarterback curse. We got to add that word in, because it's not a curse unless it's the quarterback. So only the quarterbacks get the curse, and God forbid I be one of them. And it appears to be right. Shout out to Jim Plunkett. Race, what's your Bears question, bro? I got you. We back. What's your Bears question? I'm with you. I ain't jumping on Reggie. I'm just telling you. And he did point out QBs. You're right. He absolutely did point out.
No, absolutely. But that's
his question. He did. So he
did.
Yeah,
but I still think it's weird.
Yeah, it's fair.
I still think it's weird that you're like the Heisman Trophy. There's something wrong with it for quarterbacks, but for running backs and wide receivers, there's nothing. Nah, don't worry about it. It only works for quarterbacks. Nah. Plus, quarterback is a much tougher position. Those other skill positions are relatively easy. If you're bigger, taller, faster, stronger in college at those positions, you will dominate, and you should have a level of success. No guarantee, but you should have a level of success in the league. Quarterback is such a cerebral thing. You know, it's not for everybody. Caleb clearly showed immense talent in his 2 seasons so far in the league, like physical talent, but we weren't sure. We were not sure if he mentally could handle things until this past year, probably. Yeah, and you know, after the first, realistically, let's say after the first 4 games,
I give you first half just to be fair, to be calloused in the way being want to coach him up.
Yes,
you asked for it, and now you finally got it.
And he showed that he proved to everybody, especially Ben, he was like, okay, this is our guy. There's no question.
And this the question over here, but I gotta read this for you real quick because it's I frequent a stream with Rachel every week, all week, and when she send out a super chat to somebody that's capping or somebody who is doing something that's like she don't want to hear no more, this her favorite phrase. I ain't telling you making it up, but she say knock it off. It's in my head. That's how it comes out all the time. But
Rachel is funny because I can see everything she's typed.
Yes,
like I'm not.
Yes, like it's. See there.
Tell your co-host.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Hey, but look. Okay, this is my last piece on, I guess, Heisman. The Heisman, much like the MVP and the NFL, is an award that has become hijacked by a particular position. So unless you are Bo Jackson these days, you damn near got no shot to be a non-QB that wins the Heisman or MVP.
Or the MVP.
And so, again, when Diego Pavia finished like second and third in the Heisman voting this year, and this is a quarterback who didn't even get drafted, we have to put extreme guardrails on the Heisman award itself because it's still, like I said, goes along with your team success because no 2-win team had a Heisman Trophy win on there. Because if you was that dude, your team wouldn't be 2-11, and your stats would really ring through. I.e., Cam took an Auburn team that's totally irrelevant every year since I've been an undergrad and made them unbeatable when he was in school. So you can tell certain people, Lamar making Louisville and the Cardinals relevant in the NFL. I mean, in college football. Those are the guys that I talk about. So I will give Fernando this. While I have a mixed bag of emotion about the way in which Fernando is judged because you did play in a system that perpetuated grown-ups with families playing, and I don't want to
had a lot of fourth, fifth, sixth year guys.
A few sevens, and I'm not mad at y'all because I mean the system is what the system is. Use the system to your advantage, but when you play with a lot of grown men, I'm still gonna give you the credit, I guess, quarterback for making Indiana relevant to that point. Now, I don't know where you played before you came to Indiana because I don't watch college sports that much. But as I stated, I do believe that Fernando can have success in his career. But Super Bowl, if that's the metric that we braiding on, then put him on the curse list. Check him off. Put him on the board.
Yeah. I mean, look at who won the Super Bowl. Look at the quarterback of the team that won the Super Bowl last year.
Darnold,
you don't know.
But Darnold was he was a finalist before, so close enough, I guess. Almost. He was a Heisman finalist back in the day in college. You know, what can I say? Her question is, what does today's Bears team G class need to be Super Bowl winners. God damn, like 1985. That hurt my feelings to read that year again, just cause, man, that's some decades back. But this is what I think my team needs to do to win the Super Bowl, Rachel. They have this thing called a ranking as far as defenses and offenses in the NFL. My offense was a top 5 offense last year. If my defense can be a top 13 defense, championship.
We got a chance.
Put it on the board.
We got a chance. Put it on the board.
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board. We had 29th last year. 29th, and a misplay by your quarterback and mine took us away from the NFC Championship game. And I don't know what would have happened beyond that. If you can increase your defensive intensity by 16 ranks, that means you're getting a lot more 3 and outs. You're not having shootouts. We're not having attrition where, your offense may very well go ahead and be 5th because it is good, not because it is exponentially schemed. Like this year, I want my offense to be 5th because it's humming, not because in the last part of the 3rd and 4th quarter, some click in my quarterback head to tell him, hey, it's a real game going on. I need him to wake up in the 1st quarter. Because imagine that part, being woken up, and you actually having a car that's not on cruise control. I want to see Caleb drive the car this year when we come to the offense. Because we ain't crashing right now. Tesla doing his thing out there. But put your hands on the wheel, buckle up, and let's get it. 2027, hey, Rachel, that's in my foresights. Because, one, that says that my coach has gotten a year better this year. He has a better command of the team. My quarterback has a better command of the offense, and it is being run in a better, more efficient manner. And my defense has, one, gotten healthy, got acclimated to doing their job, and it has elevated itself to something being worth talking about in a positive light, as opposed to what the hell are you doing out there? So if you can be like an offensive lineman this year, defense, and that means don't let me hear your name. I'm using a metaphor because I want to hear your name. That means you did something. That means we doing your damn job. Could you go out there? Hey, you know what? I can get you with that, Rach. Not even mad at it. We'll talk about it. Take the easy button off and go ahead and do it yourself. No more training wheels. How about that? Would that suffice to be the necessary metaphor that satiates everybody, even when it has valid points to it? This year, I want training wheels off my offense, and for my defense, I want to know you in the house. You know, like some people, you don't. My wife, she pitter-patters around the house. So I really don't know that, presence-wise, you're not felt unless things are not where they should be and how you are really doing things. She got her own little niche. If my little office ain't buzzing, then what's going on? It's your presence being felt. I need to know you're there. If I'm quiet, people think I'm sick. Bears defense, I need people not to think you sick. Wake up, make some noise, do your job. You are 5th ranked in payroll still. There ain't nothing changed, I don't think. You may drop back to 8th, but you're still going to be in the top 10 in my estimation. So those are the things that I think can instantly put us in the Super Bowl contention rate. And I'm not even being facetious when I say it, just because of who we got actually running the team. My coach, man, my coach gives me confidence like dinner going to be ready in the house, like my wife. That's the confidence I got in it. Some days that dinner ain't going to be what I thought it was going to be, because the girls didn't ask for some special request, and it wasn't something that I was privy to really know about, because my rule is, if you ask me what I want for dinner and I don't know, then roll the dice and I get to go with it. And so if I don't have a strong conviction, who am I to talk about what you put your mind, effort, and desire into cooking? So I try to voice my my appetite a lot more than not, so that I don't get somebody else's
Disappointed.
food. But you can only be disappointed in yourself if you don't get those things out. And I think that my coach said that he don't want a bottom half ranked defense anymore, because he's never had one that was a top half in his OC to coaching tenure. I'm holding him to it. Moving along, let's see if we got any particular players yesterday that was your biggest head scratcher. On the whole, not even just yesterday, but all, because I don't think we got many blue chip prospects, but I don't think the chips are totally counted yet. They ain't got no marks on them. So who was the player that made you scratch your head when they took him?
I gotta go with Sam Roush. I didn't expect them to draft a tight end. I really didn't.
Okay.
Looking at what Durham Smythe did last year, I was like, well, we can. And I hate to be that guy. Like,
Yeah,
we can get that anywhere. But
UDFA.
I kind of was that guy.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, I kind of was that guy. I was like, we could get that anywhere. But there's something that they see, and you actually had me thinking about it, because I'm just looking at his production. It makes sense. It makes sense. Let's spend that third round draft pick. Let's go get him and see if he can contribute. Let's fill a need real quick. Again, on the depth chart, Colston, Komet, Sam, and then we got some cat named Steven Carlson.
Yeah, Steven Carlson been on the practice squad for about 2 years now. And he understands the blocking screen, but he a body. He more PS. He gonna be a PS guy for life. Yeah,
I got you. So we had a slot, needed to fill it, and if he produces, at a level that is that him producing is only going to help the Bears, right? But if he doesn't give us nothing, we aren't going to be too hurt about it, because we know for a fact the dude can block, and I think that's. Ben Johnson doesn't, teams draft for potential, absolutely. But Ben Johnson is like, well, let's live in reality. What can he give us right now? And then we'll keep working with them to get us more, right? Like he said, if you don't block, you don't play, right? So everybody at least has to, right? Everybody got to at least hit that mark, and then we'll go from there. So the least he can do is block. I'm happy to have him, but again, head scratcher, man. I was not. I couldn't believe it, man. I honestly could not believe it.
Well, you see, for me, I think the later rounds is when I start to get infatuated with name recognition, unfortunately.
Okay.
Because at that point, I can't really identify all of the gems or who might slip into being a UDFA and so on and so forth. So when you see guys as like the best player available based on draft grades, RAS scores, and so on and so forth, you do start to think, for me, like 80 rating on a player in the 6th round, even if I don't hold firm in my belief on these rankings, if you were ranked in that percentile of being 80, because we got scores for a reason. You got testing that happens somewhere. And if you are 80, and it's somebody that's a 49 underneath you, I'm more prone to take the 80 to find out, like, why are you still here? Now, like, and I talked about it, like, I think it was Xavier Harris, defensive tackle from Mississippi State. 6'4", 331 or something like that. Mammoth of a man, run stuffer. I think he dealt with multiple arrests in undergrad. So, hence the slide out of the being drafted at all. Now, at 6, he was still there, and I was annoyed. And him being a UDFA, they still didn't sign him. So, obviously, it's somebody you took off your board for a reason. But when I think of somebody like that high-ranked, I think 6th round, I can take you over a Keyshawn Elliott who has a 54 ranking or something like that. But far be it for me to really know what the fit is or what you actually plan on doing with a guy. Just like last year, Ruben Hippolyte was probably our head scratcher of the draft. Like, didn't really see the Maryland guy coming in the 4th round. But nonetheless, I think your speed, your measurables, and the things that you could provide when you had some flash, just like this draft class, is going to give me a feeling of having a pretty high floor. It's going to produce contributors. The ceiling is, I think, a bit more moderate. And that's because right now I can't identify somebody that I think is a clear superstar. But I do think people like Dylan Thieneman, for one, Logan Jones, and people speak of the Xavier types. Let's find out what guys could overperform like a Malik Muhammad and become the steal of the draft in totality and be real life like that. Because I think you said it earlier, we got good draft for depth and stability. I'm paraphrasing somewhat how you thought about it early on. We fit needs
with
just the draft, the lot in totality, all of them. Did you feel as though?
Oh, you said
we had, we drafted a good stable crop, more so for depth and need as opposed for an instant superstar per se.
Yeah. They're looking at the totality of the team. They're not looking at, they drafted best player available. So they looked at their needs and they filled all these slots, especially when, you got to compare it to the 2025 draft. Like we said, of course they went with Colston and Luther first two picks, but then you got Ozzie. So you got O-line, D-tackle. I'm not even going to say the name. O-line, D-tackle, linebacker, cornerback, O-line, running back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this year they go defense first, right, with the safety. Then they go center, tight end, wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker, D-tackle. So the only double up that they did was they drafted another linebacker and another wide receiver. And a tight end, right? But those are round 3 picks, 2 in round 3,
mm-hmm.
and then the next one round 4 with Malik Muhammad. So the Bears, they showed you just from the picks, like what they showed you exactly what they're looking at. Like they're trying to show up the middle of this thing. Like they really want to make sure that they have speed on the outside, and that they have speed in the middle of the field. And they believe that their D-line will do their job because they've already drafted the players. They've signed the players to work on the D-line. So go do your job. We still got Dio, right?
You still got people
Dio was
to do
hurt
a job
last year.
Yeah. And I know people ready to jump off of those type of things instantly because of a bad year.
Because it didn't, yes.
And that's understood.
Yes, because
I
of
can
a bad year.
that. Yes, but I have to be beholden to the fact that you can't instantly in any job, like seriously, cutting losses is one thing. Being so preemptive to cut losses before you know if it's a loss, I think is doing a disservice to yourself.
That's bad business.
Like,
yes.
So you
spend years.
Thank you.
You spend years scouting these guys, and so you're saying, yes. So you're saying after one bad year they're done. That's it. Like how was that? First off, how is that fiscally responsible? Secondly, how does that make sense as a front office? That you're dismissing all of the work that was done previously just because of an injury, right? It's not saying that they played 17 games and they were just terrible, right? There was no doubt that they were bums. No, that's not it. Like they got hurt. We had injuries. Ruben Hippolyte got hurt. We don't know. Zay Frazier, he had a personal thing. We don't know yet, but they know something, and they believe that those players like that will be able to contribute. Shamar Turner, they'll be able to contribute in a big way. So let's give them that leeway and let's see. Don't just be like, it didn't work last year. Let's just spend our entire draft on new defensive players. Okay, well, where are we gonna put them? Because then you're gonna get to that point where you're gonna look at, we let a player go and they go to another team and they kill it and they're like, man, what happened? Where'd this guy come from? Oh, he was with the Bears, but the Bears just let him go.
See, Darnell,
well, how long was he there? He was there for a year. It's like you can't do that.
Because people on Darnell's first 2 years, we want to sit there and look at Jalen Carter and just compare. People, you would have get rid of him. Why keep Darnell? He not Jalen Carter. He ain't a Pro Bowler. He ain't an All-Pro. So to not understand the development of a flower and let flowers grow for themselves and not try to have everybody on some unilateral playing field when it comes to growth and development, because that's not how life goes, period. We sit in offices, we sit in classrooms, we have sat in every particular place, and never is everybody the same. Your learning, your retention, the way in which you process, the way you perform. That's why we have metrics. That's why you have rubrics. That's why you have standard. Those types of things across the board, and everybody does not always rise to the occasion. Some people excel. Some people just meet you in the middle. Some people are below average. That's how the world works. And we talk about team composition. He just spoke about it in the best way that it could be, because he spoke about the middle. I'm looking at this draft in terms of filling in the middle of your team. And I say it like this. The top end of your team, in my estimation, was kind of filled out with
I get you, yeah.
The bottom end with the Gallimores and so on and so forth in free agency. You kind of went and got some of that bottom back. Now we got two buns. What we putting in the middle? And in the middle is that rookie depth, those people that's going to be able to start and be long-term solutions, the people that's going to grow into just being speed, precision, and having a niche. And all of those guys, because we got rid of 20-plus players, have to be replaced. That means you had a top of the depth chart, a middle, and a bottom. Right now, know that you have to fill all of those rungs. Everything has to be filled. Every slot got to be filled in. So, yes, I didn't draft the top end because right there I already had a top. Can't put the top. We don't need two tops. We need a pot now. So, understand that as much as I don't like how things were put into place, honestly, we can go back to my last home analogy. My wife is going to put the pots and pans and all her things away in a way in which I can't understand and make sense at all. But when I ask her what something is, recall, retention, she knows exactly where I need to be looking. What cupboard, what cabinet, what row, top, bottom, things that, it don't matter why. It matters to her because this is her operation. It's her huddle. And if I can understand where I fit in that huddle and be able to execute, sometimes I'm just the person who get the heavy stuff off, get the pot down. Sometimes I might be the dude to actually get to cook something. Every one of these players going to get the opportunity to do some things out here. Some of them going to be cooks. Some of them going to be sous chefs. Some of them going to prep. And some of them just there to go ahead and sample the food and see if it's good. But everybody got a role. And we got to understand that as much as I don't see the role for it, I'm not in the kitchen to see how they put everything together before they hit that bell for somebody to check their plate and it's ran. I've been on every part of the kitchen except being a cook. And so you understand what I bring to your table, it's a process to that. And the process you see is the very last process. You see the garnish on the plate. You see me bring it to you in presentation and explain X, Y, and Z and all the accoutrements. The person who was back there firing it up, flambeing and everything, I don't know nothing about a flambe. But he knows that Wellington that you want needs to be cut at a certain temperature, and I can only present it to you. They in the back cooking it up, and I'm going to let them be able to be the chefs that I can't be and continue to be the consumer that is the taste tester. What I want is it to taste good. I want to be on Sundays, every Sunday with y'all, having questions that aren't questions about if we're going to win the game, but I want to have our conversations go into different directions about so much that we lose focus on the game because we get to kick our feet up and realize that the plan is being executed. And I watched a few movies back in my day and a few TV shows, and it's this guy named Hannibal Smith, and he love it when the plan comes together.
I love it when the plan comes together.
And so at all the times I watched the A-Team, I didn't know the plan. Murdoch doing things, I had no idea. But Hannibal had a plan. BA, you don't need to know. Do your role in the plan, and the plan will be executed.
And he played them to their strengths.
Because he knows
you don't go and get Face and make him the muscle. That don't make sense. That we can't be sitting here giving people different jobs and saying they can do this and they can do that, and that's not their strength. And Ben Johnson ain't gonna do that.
Maximize strength. Yes. That's the perfect summary to it, and that's how we get to wrap it. I want to be able to know that the pieces that they got are ingredients to the overall dish that we want to consume when it comes September. And as much as I don't understand the training camp methods, the recruitment methods, the scouting, I'm not a part of the room. I can only give it to you in the sense that half of the mock drafts that professionals put together did not pan out the way in which they thought. And I say that because teams have their own draft board. They have their own things that they're beholden to in terms of thought process. And everybody can have a feeling about it. I'm pretty sure everybody in the room didn't agree on certain directions that you were going to be able to go into. But at the end of the day, they made a consensus that was good for the group. And sometimes what I want is not what the group needs to get where we want to go. And if they saw fit where Sam, Xavier, and Logan were the things that are going to keep this ship sailing the way it needs to, if you thought that a guy that you needed to trade both 7-round picks away to move up to the 6th round to, in fact, get somebody with what they classify as a high motor, maybe your own Timu Max Crosby, if you will, just to give out a little playing style of the little highlights they show you. You get off as impeccable. Maybe it translates, maybe it don't. But you got lottery tickets from 25 to 213 in my estimation, and you know not what any of them give you, but you feel confident that when you go into a restaurant that has high quality, or any restaurant for that matter, and you give them an order, you have confidence they're going to put it together and give you what you asked for. And so I will give my parting shot just to wrap up my analogies for today. Let us, the Bear fan, give the order of victories and success, and hope that in that kitchen back there called this draft room and everything else, they are able to put forth the best product that they're going to give us and make me want to come back for more. And so your final thoughts on the draft on the whole, any things that we might want to kind of set our sights on in the future, moving forward when we talk about episodes, G? What's your parting shots on this one?
Good draft. You brought some players in to hopefully fill some slots and give you depth. This is what winning teams do. And if the Bears have considered themselves a winning team, they know they are a winning team. They understand, more specifically Ben Johnson, they understand what it takes to continue to be a winning team. Now we got to change our mentality as fans to understanding that we now have a winning team, and this is how you do it, right? We've had such a mentality for such a long time of, well, this guy's not working, this guy's a bum, we need to get rid of him, or yeah, our starting quarterback sucks, we need to just put the backup in. You know, for a long time we were saying that the backup quarterback is the backup quarterback is the most liked guy in Chicago. You know, they can't wait to put him in. But now we have our starter, right? We have our guy. Unlike the Steelers, bums. Sorry. We have our receiver core, right? We got our guy that our Travis Kelce, in my opinion. You know, we have that guy. Our offensive line, we have stability, not in every spot, but overall the line is stable. Defense, we've upgraded, we've improved. Come on, man. Like, we really got to start changing over our mindset as fans. Like, let's not forget, we did go to the playoffs and we beat Green Bay twice, right? Once in the playoffs. And we had a chance to go to the championship game. Let's start thinking like that. I'm not saying get comfortable, but get confident.
Get used to it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yes.
Yourself.
Get used to it. Yes. And so let's just keep doing that, man. Let's build with the Bears, not against them. Give them some leeway. Trust that they know what they're doing, because they showed you they kind of have a pretty good idea, right? And they're willing to go all in. So it's not just draft a player and hey, just, you know, we'll put you out there. No, they're getting these guys ready to go. So that's all I got to say, man. As Bear fans, bear down, man.
Appreciate it. And last, before I bid you adieu, everybody, if we can, we should already be seeing our top donators from last stream. Your boy got this opportunity, G, to be amongst the throngs of 300 thousand plus in
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Electric environment throughout the city for real. Didn't have the time clock I wanted to go ahead and indulge in some of their eateries outside of the draft area, but the way they set it up, kudos to Pittsburgh for making the experience in itself some that one I don't have any comparables, but something that I can get behind and be a part of on multiple occasions. Fans included. I can give G Honda hell, but I didn't meet a fan that gave me hell at all. Now, granted, my brother-in-law's a Browns fan, so he got all the hell, but they still even treated him to good beers and conversation. So wasn't like we were in enemy territory in any way, shape, or form. Got to be amongst everybody's fans to figure out exactly what everybody thinks about my team, their team, and so on. It's good to see how other people view your team out in the streets these days when you're not a loser. Let's just put it in that context. I saw several Packer fans, and the beaming pride of having on shirts that say good, better, best, the bear head, Dub Bears, the Coach Dicker sweaters, and they have to tuck tail and kind of bow down was a feeling that I have never got to experience as an adult out in the public as being a Bear versus a Packer fan. That was like seriously creme de la creme. And creme de la creme is my donators at the top there. Rachel Cube, I think, hell, we might etch your name in the ink instead of writing this pencil that we use all the time over there. Ganja Bear showed up and showed me some love. And the PPP girl, a.k.a. 3P, came out and sprinkled her fairy dust everywhere as she usually does in the stream. Don't never really give you much conversation, G, but she come through with a hot question real quick or a super sticker, so I can always appreciate it. And Dracula always gonna have Drac gonna have a question straight out the blue, whether it be about our questions. I mean our team.
Count.
Yeah, he always down for the count, and he rises to the occasion with every question. So I can appreciate their fair-minded approach to it, even when the answer ain't what somebody want to hear. And I do appreciate all rebuttals to give me a little bit of pushback, because sports debate wouldn't be a debate if we agree with each other all the time. So we can agree to disagree, as long as we can agree that the mailbox is where we're going to get some of our best content, Bears and otherwise, and keep on making those deliveries special as we can by y'all pulling up, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and just hanging out with your boy, seeing if the postman can make some special deliveries in your life. With that being said, I appreciate you once again for hanging out with me. Your boy about to go be papa, because somebody about to get some barbecue today. And my grandbaby wants some. She don't even know what it is, but she saw it on the TV and pointed it out, and that led us down the whole little rabbit hole. So, Xavion Thomas T. Miles, let's go. Better down. We're going to keep it real PG for us while we in town. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And until next time, and until next delivery, I'm your boy, Postman 1914. Special shout out to my co-host and first class deliverer, G Class. And we're going to talk to y'all a little later on. We gone.